Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for purchasing a painting art kit on my website. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, there are links down below and you can get your own art kit. Now, those of you that are here to follow along with my painting tutorial, you are going to want to get on some comfy clothes, maybe grab yourself a little beverage and snack. You're going to want to cover your painting surface with some newspapers or plastic tablecloth because this is not washable paint. It is acrylics. You're also going to want to grab your paint brushes and napkins, and then you're going to need to make a water cup, not for drinking but for cleaning your brushes. And don't put it in your favorite cup like my daughter used to. Throw it in an old plastic cup. Now, I have all of my paint ready to go on a paint plate that was provided in your kit, but you are going to want to leave your paints in the containers. That way, you can just scoop out what you need to mix colors. Otherwise, just dip right out of the containers to paint on your canvas. If there's any left over, you could paint your canvas tote bag that came in your art kit or save it for another future project. Now, a couple quick little suggestions. When you are finished with your paint kit, you are going to want to wipe off the paint containers before putting the lids on. That way the lid doesn't get stuck. And you're going to want to scrub your paintbrushes out very carefully so that way you can save them for a new project. What I do is I put a little Dawn dish soap in my hand and then I gently rub the brush in the palm of my hand and I clean it out under the faucet very carefully. Store them upright so that they can dry out thoroughly and then they're ready for another project. Now, you may want to turn on some of your favorite tunes and grab a snack and drink, like I said, and follow along for some artsy fun. I can't wait to see what you create. Remember, you are your own special artist and your canvas does not have to look like mine. I can't wait to see what we create. Let's get started. Oh my gosh, she is going to be so much fun to paint. I hope that you did everything that was in the intro. If not, pause me and get yourself ready to go so that we can get started. Okay, so I will be flipping between camera angles so that way you can see both shots, me and Elsa. And of course, any colors that I choose, you don't have to. This is your painting. You do you, right? You make it a masterpiece to match whatever space you're going to put it in. All right. Now, remember, this is not washable, so be careful, but have fun. Okay, I'm going to start with my biggest brush. It is flat on the top and then it's kind of pointy on the corners, and I'm going to work on my background first and then I'll work my way to the more fun stuff. Any small areas, switch to your smaller brush and then back to your bigger brush to fill in bigger areas. All right. Now, I am going to start with a super soft purple for my background because why not? Now, I have already been making videos today. That's why all my colors are kind of mixed up as it is. But I'm just putting a teensy bit of purple in at a time until I like it. Now, since I'm doing my whole background, I gotta make sure that I make enough of this color because it's really hard to match a color once you have already made it, okay? So typically we don't want to paint with this much paint on our brush, but since we're working on our background, we can kind of just sort of smear a little bit on there. So now I got all the extra off my brush and I can get right here next to Elsa's head, just like so. I love to outline my spaces first, so that way whenever I'm painting, it almost is like it creates a barrier for my paintbrush so it knows where to stop and start. Okay, now if we cover up our Sharpie lines, we're not going to stress about it because you guys can go back with your permanent marker you got in your kit and totally retrace any of those permanent lines, those black lines that you want to bring back out. Or you might decide that you like a softer finish and you don't want it to have a bold black outline. It's really up to you and the style that you're going for. Now, after we kind of go slow and steady around Elsa, then we can sort of speed it up a little, right? Now, I am trying to stay off the snowflake, but I'm not going to stress if I do get paint on the snowflake because I'm going to paint the snowflake blue and that should cover up my light purple. Now, if you want to, friends, you could most definitely paint your edges. So what I mean by that is you can bring the color on over to the very top, just like this, and of course down the right side and down the left side. And by doing this, I feel like it helps our canvas to have more of a finished look. Now, maybe that's just my preference. You do you. There are plenty of people who don't paint their edges, and that's perfectly fine. So we're going to get that all filled in. Now, as you are painting your canvas and you're painting like this big space, I'm not all about making everything look just totally smooth and perfect. I kind of like to swirl my brush as I go to get it all filled in, and that creates kind of a fun texture. Plus, it helps me to be able to get the paint down in the grooves of the canvas a little easier. There we go. So, I don't know about you guys. You'll have to drop me a comment which movie was better, the first one or the second one. Which one did you like better? There we go. Now, of course, like I was saying earlier, totally switch up your colors and do this whatever colors you want. No wrong answer. In fact, that will make it even more unique and special and make it look even more like your own special creation. Now again, when we get close to places, we want to slow it down a little and kind of work on outlining so that way we don't paint something we don't need to. Now, some of the things, if we paint them, no big deal, because the color we're going to put in those places will cover it up. But then some of it, like I'm not so sure that skin color will cover up purple. It could, but I'm just trying to be careful. Kind of slow it down a little. There we go. And remember, we're not stressing about those Sharpie lines because those can be redrawn at the very end when this is 100% dry. Okay? So now we just have this edge over here. We're so close. Now there is also an Olaf art kit. So maybe you want to get that one too. Maybe you have so much fun painting Elsa that you're going to want to paint Olaf. There we go. Make sure I got that edge good. And then at some point, I'm going to have to flip her upside down and do the very bottom of the canvas. There we go. But we'll let the top dry a little bit. You might be painting flat. Typically, when I am not videoing, I will paint flat as well. There we go. Okay, so now we have a great background done. We took care of all of the kind of boring stuff first, and now we can move on and do some of the fun things. Now I'm going to be mixing a lot of colors, so as I am mixing, you can scoop out color from your containers and put it on the plate. It's kind of a trick, you know, how much color you scoop out to make sure that you make enough, but you don't waste. So it's tricky. You think I have it down perfect, but I don't. So we're gonna get back on and move on to another color. And I say we could go ahead and do that snowflake. Oh my goodness, I didn't show you. To clean your brush, my peeps, you gotta really smush that brush in the bottom, wipe on the inside of the cup. Do not tap. If we tap, we are going to splash water on our canvas or on our table or on the person that might be painting next to us. So we wipe on the inside of this cup instead of tapping, and then we sweep, sweep, sweep our napkin to dry it off. Okay, plus it gets a little extra paint off of it as well. Now for my snowflake, I think it would be wise to use a smaller brush. So pick one of your smaller ones, and I don't want to use the blue as is, so I'm going to bring some white over to my blue, and then I'll put a little bit of blue in at a time until I like the version that I make. There we go. Roll my brush off. Whoop, almost flicked that right out of my hand. And then we outline, fill in, outline, fill in. And we're going to continue this all the way around. Now, one thing you could do to kind of help yourself is you could go blow dry your canvas real quick and get this background dry, so then that way you could rest the side of your hand on your canvas and not mess up your paint job and get paint all over your skin. There we go. Super fun. Okay. There we go. So again, we just outline and then fill in. Outline, 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 fill in. Outline, 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 fill in. Got a little diamond over here, outline, fill in. One up here, outline, fill in. Got some down here. Outline, fill in. Outline, fill in. Just slow and steady, guys. Super gentle touch. Take your time. No rush. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. I could go with some darker blue and kind of bring a little bit on the edges. Okay. Oh yeah, cute. That gives it just a little extra something. And then at the very end, of course, you can go back and do some outlining around the whole snowflake with your black Sharpie. That would look really nice and bring it together. So let's move on. And for her skin, that's going to be a little tricky because we don't really have a skin color. So here's what I'm thinking. We can use a chunk of white. Got to make sure we make enough. Then we can use just a little bit of brown at a time, just the teensiest bit, and see what you think. Now, if we need to create a little bit of a little extra warmth, maybe I could add a smidge of yellow in there, and that's going to help create a little bit of warmness. Or you could make some orange and add that in there. And to make orange, that would be yellow and red. Start with the yellow, put a tiny bit of red in at a time, mix it up, and then you can put your orange into that. I think this will probably work. Her skin, if I remember right, is super fair, super pale. But, you know, you could make your own version of Elsa. She could have tan skin, right? So you can make her as tan as you want. Now, if you do not trust yourself with this bigger guide, this is not the biggest brush. This is the second biggest brush. It's got rounded corners. Then, of course, if you don't trust yourself with this one, of course, move on to one of the smaller ones, and then you could come back to this one later to fill in. Okay, so we outline and then we fill in. There we go. Oh yeah, baby. Get that filled in. Not even gonna worry if I paint over the Sharpie lines because I know I can go back with my permanent marker and cover those up. Okay, so there's her face. Now, ooh, I forgot a line on here. Hopefully I didn't forget it on yours. It's gonna be right up there. So that's part of her neck. There we go. And now paint her skin here. There we go. And here. There we go. And then she's got a little bit of skin showing over here, little shoulder showing. There we go. And of course, her hand. Again, we just paint over that. Go back and fix it later. If you'd rather use a smaller brush, you can do that. Or, of course, you can just be as gentle as you can with this brush. You kind of turn it on its side and use like the side of the bristles so that it makes a thinner line. And then the rest of this is all of her dress and her hair, okay? So I'm gonna clean my brush again, really smush and swirl the bottom of the cup. If your water gets too yucky, which typically when I'm painting on a 10 by 10 canvas like this, my water doesn't get too bad. But if it does get too bad, you could always hit pause, go get you some fresh water, and then, you know, hit play. Okay, we gotta dry that brush off really good. Now for her hair, I don't wanna go quite so bold. That's pretty bold, okay? So I'm gonna take some white and, oops, just painted my nail, and some yellow and kind of mix that together over here. And make sure we make enough because she's got a lot of hair, right? There we go. Roll the extra off. And then same thing, we kind of outline and fill in. I know you can use this brush if you're very gentle, but If you don't trust yourself with it, use a smaller one to outline and then use the bigger one to fill in, okay? There we go. Okay. So again, we just sort of outline, and then we fill in. And you can follow the Sharpie lines when you're filling in, so that way her hair takes on a little bit of movement, and it's not just everywhere. You guys, I forgot to paint the ear. We'll have to go back to the ear and paint it. That's okay though, right? Accidents happen. So we'll just paint right next to that ear. There we go. And fill her in. Fill her in. There we go. Fill it in. Fill it in. Such fabulous hair. And then, oh my gosh, I forgot another line. Kimberly. Here, and that is for the rest of her hair that's hanging down, and the star is like a little clip in her hair. Okay, here we go. We get all her hair. Don't want to forget nothing. Okay, so again, we clean that brush off, smush and swirl, dry it off on our napkin. All that paint off. Now, really make sure you get your yellow out of that brush if that's the one you're going to use for her dress. Real quick, before I forget, I'm going to paint her little ear in. It's almost just like little dabs. Just little dabs. There, now her ear's painted. Okay, for her dress, I'm going to use the same blue that I did on the snowflake for this top little decorative piece on her dress. Then go. Gently. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, no, it's not it. Her little 𝗀𝗲𝗱𝘆. There we go. Outline. Outline. Fill in. There, and for the little bit darker blue on her dress, I'm just going to add a little bit more blue in here to darken it up. So it'll kind of match the darker blue on the snowflake. And then outline, outline, fill in. Outline. There we go. Fill in. And at some point, we do need to think about painting the bottom, guys. So don't forget about that, okay? And then Ooh, some pretty blue eyes, huh? Okay, so we'll get our little bitty brush out again, wash it, dry it. There we go. And we'll paint in her pretty blue eyes. Very carefully, just use your tiniest pointy brush. Super careful. If you accidentally paint on the pupil, that's the black part, you can always go back and re-Sharpie it, right? Oh my goodness, she looks so cute. And then I'll do a little black in her mouth, although, I mean, I guess if you wanted to do like a dark red, you could. Sometimes though, it makes them look like they're bleeding when they have dark red in their mouth, so just think about that. There we go. Could have definitely used Sharpie for that part too if I was a little hesitant. Now, remember, we can take our permanent marker and we can go back and we can trace any of those lines that we feel like we need to trace, right? We need to bring back out the eyebrows, the smile lines, the nose, the fingers, but don't do it until your paint's dry, okay? So you definitely want to make sure that your paint is 100% dry, which mine is not everywhere. So I just got to be careful. And then later I can go back and redo all of this, but I just kind of want to give y'all an idea of the difference that it makes when you do go back and do these little touch-ups. Oh, guys, you almost let me forget her little star. Let's say I wanted to make a pink star. I get just a little bit of red, mix it into some white, just like so, and then we can paint in her star, just like so. There we go. Oh yeah, super cute. Okay, so now we can go back with the Sharpie and do all the Sharpie that we need to. And honestly, I think it would look nice if you re-Sharpie everything after it's 100% dry, but it's your choice because it's your painting. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and Elsa and painting her. She's really fun and cute. This would look great in your bedroom or your kiddo's room or grandkids, right? So don't forget to get the bottom and hang this thing up with pride. And remember, we have her buddy too, right? So you could definitely purchase a second one and get Olaf. That would be super fun. Thanks guys. Remember, always be kind. Reach out to those you love. Let them know you care. And have a very, very amazing season. And I will see you again soon. Make sure, subscribe to my channel. Turn on the notifications. I don't just have painting videos. I have crafting videos and art project videos as well, and art lessons. So definitely subscribe and go check out my playlist. See you soon, guys.